We are Steve and Jill.
Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show,
We answer that and more. Steve and Jill here.
hello.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Stephen Jack Butella.
And I'm Jill DeWitt, broadcasting from sunny Southern California.
Today, Jill and I talk about scaling your land business, our possible education program. As I mentioned on the show later yesterday, we're getting a lot of requests for like a very specific class type coaching program where we take you step by step through every single step of the way so you can get that first deal done. Or if you're done a bunch of deals, we show you how we do it through data. And Jill and I have been gone back across the fence with each other and with other people about doing this. And if it's something that we want to focus on.
We've been asked this a bit for several years. It comes up now and then. The whole point is the whole Land Academy program is a version of this. It really is a step-by-step thing. But people have said they want like a more in-person, weekly accountability, mentoring kind of thing.
This whole COVID thing has really forced a lot of these kids, I'm watching personally with our kids and just the world, forced these kids at a very young age, in my opinion too young, to be responsible for educating themselves and having enough self-control to get up in the morning. And it's a very rare teenager that does this. So, and maybe it's a very rare person that does this, that they actually need to sit in front of an instructor and show up on time and, follow the rules.
I'm going to argue it is a very rare person because I know that we have people on our staff that it doesn't affect me at all. And it's like, but it's people that report to other people that report to me have had to micromanage some of our staff. They're great when they're in the office. They know it. They show up. They're on good. But you send them home, and then they don't have the personal motivation. So they've had to be monitored a little more than people care to. So I don't think it's kid specific, but you're right. It's a thing.
This is not the meat of the show.
Okay.
Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landacademy.com online community. It's free. Isn't it Land Investors? Go to landinvestors.com too. Yeah, you can get there two ways.
Yes. Herbert wrote, "Hello all. I know demand is a huge factor when choosing a county. My question is, how do you determine if a county has a high demand or not? Besides having low days on market and a high population, what other factors help determine the demand for a county? Thanks."
Herbert, I am delighted that you asked this question. I think this is the question of the day. I'm going to answer it to Jill's dismay. Answer this in great detail.
Dismay or boredom?
Both. In
Okay.
fact, now's the time to get the nail polish out if you'd like. I'm going to answer it in great detail, and because I think it's it can make or break, and it's something new. If you're an existing Land Academy member or you're buying and selling land, member or not, this is what's changing, and it's going to change how you make decisions. If you take a look at days on market, that's a good factor. That's one of the factors. Lower days on market's always better. In a high population city, like let's say Los Angeles, I don't necessarily think that there's a ton of land buyers in Los Angeles, or let's say Manhattan, New York. So what is it then? How do you determine where to send mail where there's a lot of population or where there's a lot of demand? And I have one word for you: clicks. If you
I like it
go
when you
on,
talk like that.
well, you like just one word answers.
Yeah, I do.
Like yes or no.
That's what I was meaning. Yeah. Thank you. It wasn't a long, drawn out thing. All right, moving on. Just kidding.
Here's a couple questions for Jill. She's going to give me one word answers.
Uh-oh.
Hey, Jill, you want to get married?
No.
Hey, Jill, should we buy an RV?
Yes.
Hey, Jill, are you happy about doing audio only format versus video?
Yes. Keep going.
How easy is this?
This is great.
Jill, do you know your actual real hair color?
Yes.
Oh boy.
It pops up now and then.
Do you have any questions for me?
Oh, I like this game. All right. Steven, are you comfortable with your balance sheet?
Yes.
Steven, do you have a favorite car?
Yes, I do right now.
And do you own your favorite car?
Yes.
Oh. Steven.
It's not my last favorite car.
Do you have any idea where you want to live 5 years from now?
Sort of.
Oh, this is good. I like this game.
The show's obviously going to go over.
All right, Steven, are you happy in your romantic situation?
Seriously, yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. I'm done. It was fun.
Websites and places on the internet are ever increasingly providing more information to you. Thanks to Google and the concept of open source. No thank you, Steve Jobs. Quite the opposite with Apple. So Windows and Google and all the Android type, the world out there, God, we're going to get a lot of emails on this, believe in open source. So if you go to Zillow, for example, you not only can see all the land, they call it lots and land, that's for sale in any given zip code or however you break it down in a county. You can see what's for sale. You can see what's sold. This is all free, and within seconds you can determine this. Not only that, for each listing you can determine for sale property, how many people have viewed it. So how many people have clicked on it and viewed it since it's been available. You can see the number of days that it's been available, days on market. And you can see for closed listings, you can see the same thing. How many clicks did it take while this property was posted on Zillow for it to sell? So I want this to sink in for a second. So there's a small number of people, about 2% of the people that are listening to this, where they're scrambling to go to Zillow. And the switch, I don't need to explain it any more than I just did. This is amazing information to them. They get it, and they understand that from a metadata, M-E-T-A, data standpoint, if you looked at all of that lined up in a database or a spreadsheet or however you see data, it will tell you exactly within seconds where the demand is and where to send mail.
Salespeople have forever known this. We've all known, like, even if you sell used cars, there's an average that the people that you'll talk to before you have, a sale, if you will. So it's just the fact that now, like you just said, the data's here for us. For a long time, we didn't have anything. So there were not even good sales. I remember, back in the day, there weren't even good places to post properties, So I have a question. Do you have one that you like better? Like, saves versus clicks? Does that matter? Some sites do it, some don't. Is there any magic secret sauce there? Do you really like Zillow the best?
Yeah, so
Okay.
In the data world or statistics world, there's always exceptions. So we're just talking about the actual rules and the data that compiles into the database. Then there's these weird outliers that you have to figure out how to get. So just speaking without those exceptions, Zillow is the only one that's effective and gives you the biggest data set. The real answer is this, and it always will be. How many clicks did it take before this property sold? So you got a 40-acre property in Apache County, Arizona. It took 2,000 clicks to sell it in 3 years. Versus a property in Montana, 40-acre property in Montana was listed for $12,000. It attracted 22,000 clicks in the first week, and it was sold. Mm-hmm. So it's clicks per day, clicks per minute, clicks for length. There's all kinds of statistics. They don't provide you this. They provide you the number of clicks and the days. From there, you have to be bright enough, and the switch has to flip, or the light bulb has to go over your head to say, I can take that spreadsheet out, 15 columns with stats that are going to show me exactly where to go.
Oh my gosh, you could throw in social media, all kinds of things.
That's the deal. That's the decision-making process. If this makes complete sense to you and you're listening to this, you get it. Yeah. Congratulations. You either get it or you don't.
Right.
And the vast majority of the people that are listening to this don't get it.
Right.
That's what we were talking about with education. I think was it this show or the other one?
I would say too. Are we in the show yet? No, we're not even to the show yet. Sorry.
Oh my gosh, we're in.
No, I was just going to.
Oh, we got to go to the show.
Well, can I add one last comment? Don't get overwhelmed. This could be overwhelming for people because if you really want to dig in, you could say, "Well, I'm going to put Zillow, and I'm going to put land watch in there. I'm going to put my
That's not
Facebook
necessary.
views.
That data's not available.
But I mean, you could. I could put my Facebook views. I could do my YouTube views, who watched the video to sell the property. I mean, there's things you could do. I just want to tell people there's a lot of things out there if you want to really be nuts. But don't listen to Stephen, is what I'm trying to say, and don't get overwhelmed.
Well said.
Thank you.
Demand is very easily, this is for another show, but the deal is, and everybody needs to really absorb this. We are in the data age. We're not in the industrial age. We're not in the sales age. We're not in the stone age. We are in the data age, and you need to embrace this stuff. So if you're I'm 53. I'm just made the computer cut for some reason. We have friends that are a few years older than me that are baffled by how to type. And that's too bad. If you are going to survive and thrive in this data age that we're in, you got to learn and understand data and computers. And it's for a lot of people, that's hard to hear. Mm-hmm. They've been doing stuff a different way.
Yep.
Today's topic, scaling your land business, our possible program. This is why you're listening. Talk about going over in time.
Jeez, took us long enough to get there, right?
Jill and I are now more than ever getting requests from people to have some type of class that they can log on to. That's maybe 2 or 3 or 4 weeks, where we start with how to pick a county. That's the first class. Class number 2 is how to get your first mailer out and why, how to price it, and class 3 is on and on and on. So, and then finally, how to handle the offers. This is where Jill takes over. Now you're getting offers coming back in, how to talk to them, how to deal with it, and how to buy the property. A step by step by step. Hold your hand. Show up Tuesday at 6 p.m. every Tuesday for 4 hours so we help you.
This is actually how the program's laid out too, by the way. It's not that it's not there. This is called Land Academy. This is just taking it to the next level. People that really want, I think it's more accountability. It's because it's not the steps. We've done the steps. It's in our program. Don't you see it that way?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I see, I wrote a program, honestly, for somebody like me and like Jill. Mm-hmm. And filmed it that way because I don't have a problem sticking to stuff, getting up in the morning, looking at my calendar and doing what it says. I never have.
Right.
You know what I have a problem with? Truth be told?
Uh-oh.
Somebody standing in the front of the class teaching some crap that I've already learned because I went ahead in the class. And being told what to do and sit still. Hey, Steve, sit still.
Huh.
This isn't, sit still. The rest of the class needs to catch up. That's my whole life in education.
Yeah. So this wouldn't be for you.
No. I would be the teacher of it and probably have the same attitude.
You would go fast. Keep up. If you didn't read it, if you didn't catch it, I do know you. Yes. Welcome to my world.
So that's why it has never materialized, because it's written and the software is ready and all of that. And we would charge a lot for it. And my fear is this. Here's the real reason this has never manifested, never materialized. There are going to be certain people in the class who get it and are going to burn through. Just like any bell curve for anything. The vast majority are going to say, hold on a second, I have a couple of questions, which is fine. And then there's going to be a certain percentage of people that shouldn't be there at all.
That they can't log in today.
Yeah. So we live in this world of social media where it's those people who decided that they didn't have a good dining experience, even though they have mental problems, are going to be loud about it.
I know.
And I don't need that.
So what's the verdict?
I don't know. And I'll tell you, it's going to be expensive. And that's the other thing. Joe and I have hung our hat on for a very long time. This is our 5-year anniversary for Land Academy this month. And we have long hung our hat on. We have one program. We're not here to upsell you. We have I don't know how much it costs these days. I think it's like $1,500 or something like that, $2,000, and then a membership fee after that. And that's it. We don't have a $12,000 program at the end of it
that we sell you.
Program. Or a $50,000 program.
Or the $100,000.
And we've kind of hung our hat on that. It's separated us from, I think, a lot of the shyster / crooks out there in this space that we're in, that we're constantly trying to explain our way out of. So I think opening these doors, for the people who need this, by the way, maybe shouldn't be doing this.
I don't know. Well, hold on a moment. Because we've been talking about this last week while we've been out of town for a couple of days. I still might see a benefit and really helping people that are in this, have done well, and just need a little extra guidance to take it to that next top tier level. I do see that, the value of that. Like, hey, I'm flipping deals. I'm hung up here. I'm hung up on this. Just need, and it's just like a little, like you used to call it tacking. Just need a little guidance while they're tacking. So I'm not opposed to that. I remember we talked about a long time ago, we're going to do business in a box, bring people from zero to whatever. I'm so glad we didn't do that, because that would be hard to do.
Me too.
Because you really can't, it's hard to qualify people based on, hey, I had an insurance company that did very well. I know how to do this and this, and trust that you're going to get in there. They're going to understand data. That's hard. So if we do anything, it's going to be people that are already in our group, that are successful, doing deals, because we have stuff to help them get to that point. And then we're going to take you to the, I don't know, 20 to 50 deal range, to the, now I'm doing 20 to 50 a month range, or something like that.
There's 3 or 4 or 5 types of people in our group right now. If you take at the tip top, there's a bell curve like everything. I take the tip top advanced members, and if I ask them this question, and I've asked them both at the live event and during the Thursday calls, what is it about you that makes you so successful? And every single one of them, there's a silence. And they say, what are you talking about? I don't know what you mean. I don't understand the question. I didn't really know I was successful. They don't, if you've ever seen Good Will Hunting and he's trying to explain the movie, and he's trying to explain why he's so good at math, like one of the best people, he says, I don't know. I don't know. But I'll tell you.
Natural.
But I'll tell you what, I can't play the piano. And there's no amount of time that I could practice and become a great pianist. So that's the top tier. The middle tier, which Jill referred to, or really it's like the 75th percentile, they're struggling with one component of this. They get the data, they have the motivation, they understand how to pay attention to their calendar. There's maybe one kind of like bottleneck. It might be, and I'll tell you, I was in that group.
Might be staffing.
I was in that group
and
when
scaling.
I met Jill. We just got off the show, off recording, being interviewed by somebody. And they asked me what was the greatest success that you had and the greatest failure. And by leaps and bounds, the greatest success I had was teaming up with Jill, because I was in that 75th percentile. I was not at the tip top Good Will Hunting. I lacked organization. I didn't lack discipline, but I lacked institutionalizing this business. And it was all because I just wasn't real happy about the sales part. I love the acquisition part, and acquisition salespeople come and go. Well, Jill's here to stay, and so she solved it. So she took me from the 75th percentile to the 100th. In the middle, the third type of member that we have are people that I think are properly motivated, properly financed, have the right attitude. They are stuck in life.
Yeah.
There is no help for those people.
Correct.
They have 3 little kids. The
Yep.
COVID thing happened. They have great intentions. They're figuring out how to pay their mortgage or whatever's going on in their life. So they have greatest intentions, just real bad timing. And I think that's a ton of people. And I don't know how to help those people.
I think they're figuring it out. They're figuring out their situations.
And the bottom 33%, these are ballpark numbers, shouldn't be here in the first place. They have dollar signs in their eyes. Maybe it's a Ferrari thing. I've heard a million very, very successful actors say this when they're on like Actor Studio and they're talking to young actor wannabes. They say, the question is, what would you say to a young actor? And they almost always say, if you're in this business to become famous, like the Kardashian famous, with no talent whatsoever, no real anything,
Right.
stop it.
That's not what this is about.
It's not. This is not. If you're in this business because you want to get wealthy quickly, or you want to just get wealthy in general, it's not what it's about. It's about for me, it's about creating a perfect data set and a perfect mailer where Jill gets an amazing response and I can beat my chest and say I am conquering this thing. And then all of a sudden my bank balance is in the millions. Like I don't even check.
Yeah, for me, it's because this came easy for me. It all made sense. Fortunately, it all made complete sense. And figuring things out for me is no problem. Undoing deed messes is like, I can figure this out. Okay, no problem.
Yep.
Love it.
It's the reason we capped this thing at 500 members. Because and I'm intentionally doing this on the air because I don't want this to be a wishy-washy thing. I want if the switch is flipping in your head right now and you completely get what we're saying here, join. Mm-hmm. If you have any questions about it, don't join. If you're here to get rich, this isn't for you.
Nope. Happy you could join us today. 5 days a week, you can find us here on the Land Academy Show.
The episode on the next Land Academy Show is called "The TV Series Yellowstone is What We Are All Selling." You are not alone in your real estate ambition. I am enamored, and I know you are too, with this show that I just discovered. Apparently it's been around for 3 or 4 years.
I'm cracking up that you've made a show with this title about this. This is going to be fun tomorrow.
Jill and I were glued to the TV last night.
Yep.
Sipping a glass of wine and watching the scenery. It's filmed in Yellowstone. Mm-hmm. I actually checked. It's actually filmed there.
I believe it. The Land Academy Show remains commercial-free for you, our loyal listener. So wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening, please subscribe and rate us there.
We are Steve and Jill.
I don't know.
I started again?
No.
Information
and inspiration
to buy undervalued property.